Yes, now you can start.
Hello, welcome everybody at TeleFiSH Film Festival in Stadthafen. We are here in this wonderful place, sitting together, and we're going to talk about how to get my films around the world. If someone wants to know more, there's some more info on the website, of course. And we're here for you. And who we are. I'm Dana Jeswaj, I come from Szczecin, Poland originally, and I'm a manager so I run festivals, but I also do some other projects, and I help also young people to go there where they want to go. And we have wonderful guests, and I would like you to say a few words about yourself to our wonderful camera. So we have, let's start maybe with Stine Wangler. Is it okay? We are from 4 different countries, so
Yes.
excuse me if I pronounce something wrong.
Okay, yes, I'm Stine Wangler, and I'm working at the Kurzfilmagentur in Hamburg. In English it means Short Film Agency, and the agency is quite a big organization completely dedicated to short films only. So we run a festival, the Kurzfilm Festival Hamburg, happening in June every year. We have a theatrical distribution where we bring short films into cinemas to be shown before feature films. And that happens mainly in German cinemas. And then we do world sales, that's where I'm working. So I'm practically licensing short films around the world to TV stations, internet platforms, educational institutions, anything actually. So yes, I'm working in the world sales, but I'm also part of the selection committee at the German competition at our festival.
Okay, so it's a lot of work, very much international. So it's good to know you, I would say.
It's good to know me, yeah, maybe.
It sounds like that. And we have Marija Rakovic Vidokovic. Did I pronounce it well?
Yeah.
Okay. You are not only from Youth Cinema Network, because you are also a film producer.
Yeah, I'm originally from Croatia, and back there I was a film producer and film director and festival manager, focused mainly on youth film festivals. 5 years back I moved to Sweden, and there I did my teacher education, so now I teach also in film and media. So, and I'm a coordinator of Youth Cinema Network, which is FISH, also part of a network of film festivals and film organizations and freelancers who are focused on developing young talents.
Okay.
Talents.
And now maybe Sebastian Apel?
Yes.
Okay, tell us something.
Yeah, I'm the programmer at the Nordic Shorts section, which is the international shorts section in Lübeck, Nordic Film Days. It's a festival which focuses on the Scandinavian countries as well as the Baltic countries. And yeah, there I curate and select the international short films. But I'm also, like Stine, working at the Short Film Agency for the International Short Film Festival in Hamburg, and also dabble at some other festivals in more technical departments, like the Berlinale. Yeah.
So, great. It's good to know you all, I guess. And we have also Ciarda.
Yeah. It's always
Ciarda Tobin.
Yeah, even in Ireland, people have told my name. So I'm Ciarda. I'm from
Ciarda.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm from Limerick in Ireland, and I work with Fresh Film, which is a film organisation for young filmmakers aged 7 to 18, 19 for internationals. And we have a festival in March, Fresh International Film Festival, that's based in Limerick, but is national and has international elements too. But we also send Irish films abroad to other countries, so we distribute them. And then we also run programs with education with primary and secondary schools with international films, where we distribute those around Ireland for schools and groups. So we have a different model again to other people.
Yeah. So I've seen that you do really a lot as well. It's not just a festival, but it's really much more into it.
Yeah.
We have really great experts, and I hope we will be able to say something to the young filmmakers that are here and that are watching or will be watching later. What would you say as what should be the first steps for the filmmaker, for the young filmmaker, to get their films around the world, or at least out of the place where they were produced?
Should I start?
Yeah.
So you mean the film is finished, and what do they do now
Yes,
to get it out?
exactly.
Well, usually there is like these windows that there. It's not as specific and tight as with the feature films, but even with short films there are somewhat windows. So first of all, you would try to get it to festivals, and maybe even try A festivals first. I don't know if it's your first film. You might just try the film festivals for young filmmakers. But yeah, get it submitted to festivals as much as possible, I would say. And then if you want to reach out to a sales agent like we are, I always say that you can already reach out to sales agents in a very early stage. Like even when you just finished and you didn't get accepted yet for a festival, you can reach out. If you got accepted for a great festival, it's even better to reach out to sales agents and say, hey, I will premiere there, and I'm still looking for a sales agent, and then that draws our attention to the film. It's like, oh, okay, so this festival selected the film. I will definitely have a look at it. And if a sales agent is on board quickly, we can already be part of the promotion during the festival run. So we would not sell the film immediately to TV stations or internet platforms, because we want the film to do the festival run and don't want to interfere with that, because it should have the festival run. So usually we start actually selling the film like 1 year after the festival premiere. Many times it also takes so long to even finalize a contract with a film, with a TV station, for example. Can take very long. But yes, so first festivals, but also reaching out to sales agents already.
But it sounds so simple. I mean, I'm young. I'm young at heart. Still, I'm 15. Let's say I have my first film, and I just send it to festivals, and I just call you, and it's done.
And you're lucky. you have to get accepted.
So
maybe
how many films do you get? I don't know, monthly, yearly. So how big is the chance that I will actually be picked out from all those films? Because in a country like Germany, for example, there are so many films produced by young people.
Yeah, it's not so big, to be honest.
No?
No, I mean, speaking about our sales catalog now, we take about 15 films each year into our catalog. 15 international short films. So that's a big competition, because we also go to festivals. We look for films at A festivals and
so
other festivals.
It's enormous.
Yes, it's, yeah. And so there is a possibility, but as I said, if you premiere at a good festival, it might get more interesting also for a sales agent, knowing that, okay, this brings already a reputation to even sell it.
Yes,
because the way it sells to us, we can sell it.
It's been shown here and here, and it has this and this award. It's always good to see under. Yeah.
But also we take films that do not have this. If it's a really good film, we know that, okay, this really functions, and we will try it. And we also sold many films that have not played at many big festivals. But then in the end, it comes down to the film. Okay. But the competition is big, yes.
And can you tell us who is we? You said we. So it's you and how many people are there working?
So in the agency, it's how many?
Or are there people, well, like some who watch and then you gather together? How does it look like? Just to imagine.
So since we have these different departments, it's very different. So the festival has like many more people running as closer as it comes to the festival. But with we, I mean the sales department, that's me and one colleague. Okay. So it's just 2 people in the sales department. And then we have the theatrical distribution department, and there are 3 people working there. So many times these are the departments who consider films, and we don't take the same films. Like the theatrical department, they can take much more films, because they usually only take rights for the German-speaking territories to bring it to that cinemas, and they need sometimes also different films because their films have to be under 10 minutes. The films will be shown before feature films, so they cannot be very long.
Okay.
The shorter the better. And they can also take films from other sales agents, for example, because they only need these specific rights. And we want to have worldwide exclusive rights for the films that we take in the sales department.
Okay. How does it look like where you work?
Well, it's different. We're working with young filmmakers. So from our perspective, it's really about, okay, so there's two approaches, I suppose. There's the international films that come into us that we distribute through Ireland, and then the Irish films that we distribute out of Ireland. So there's two different approaches there. For the international films, which would be of interest to the filmmakers listening here, our priority is to get audiences for them. You know, because as a filmmaker, we feel that you want people to see your films. You want them to see your work and react to your work and appreciate the work you've made. So that's where we're coming from. So it's really about getting those stories in front of audiences, wherever they happen to be. So that's really something that we do, because we get thousands of films submitted through our website and through Film Freeway. And actually, before I forget, just Film Freeway is such a great platform. There's a tendency to focus on Film Freeway, but a lot of festivals you can actually submit through their own website too. So, you know, look around, because also fees may be different, or there may be no fee through a website. But that aside, we can't screen all of those at a festival.
Of course.
But there are audiences all over the country that would appreciate them. So we try to package them in special programs where they can be seen. But this is different because the contractual relationship is different, and they're at earlier stage of their career. So I think that what we could offer sort of in terms of sales would not be the same as what can be offered through professional distribution network.
Yeah.
So it's different, and I think it suits different points of a career for filmmakers. And then in terms of a national organisation, we try to select the strongest films and make relationships with those filmmakers with festivals or organisations. So it's you know, if we have a 16-year-old filmmaker, that their work then is selected for a festival in Germany or in Sweden or Croatia, but then we hope that we can step back and they then have that relationship, and then we support the next filmmaker, so that they
give
can
a push.
That's it, yes, because we have that support, we have the time and the resources. So that's something we do, but it's not meant to be ongoing. It's meant to be once or twice.
Okay. With so many films, that would be impossible to stick around to a filmmaker and be there all the time for years.
Yeah. But it's not good. Yeah. As a filmmaker, you need that power yourself.
Yeah. What could you tell us?
Well, I think I would like to take the step back again and talk about how the festival itself helps with getting your film out there, because step one is like submit your film, and just to get a scope of the vast world of film festivals, it's good to have like a starting point, like see when our call for entries open, how do I submit them, like you said. Film Freeway is a great platform, but it's also such a great platform that it's there's too many festivals for you to decide where
really
to submit.
A lot. If you want to look through and just to have an idea where you're actually submitting your film, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and also you have to like decide: am I willing to pay fees to submit to some festivals, and why should I submit to these festivals? And I think it's important for you to get to know what you want from the festival, and usually it's like a first space to get to show your film, to get the first reactions.
To meet with the audience.
Yeah, to meet with the audience, to see how are my intentions met, what is my film in the cinema, in the reality, out of my head and into the world at the first stage. So you have this little fishbowl where you can test your film, test screen your film and get opinions, and also know in which like category falls my film. And from there, after you get your like first festival gig, it always trickles down. So whenever I choose a film in my section, it always gets like spread around by me because festivals are connected with each other. A lot of festivals screen programs at other festivals, and they swap programs like so. So it's good to start, if it's your first debut film, I think, to start like regional maybe, and you can still go bigger from there. But it's a good starting point to just choose a festival that is close to you, because
so you
then
can go there.
you can go there, you can get a feel of it, and also use the connections you get there at the fullest because they are right next to you.
Yes.
Let's say.
So we're living in weird times, and because of the pandemic, so many things have changed. So many possibilities arrived, but then we go back to the point, sit here and listen how the people breathe, how they react, if they move, if they don't move, if they seem to have fun or if they got scared. And is it possible to feel it if you watch the films at home?
I
If
don't
you
think
have
so.
it, yeah. So we have the festival lady here, Marija.
I would just come back to the point that both Ciarda and you were talking about. The thing that first look out for the festival you have in your neighborhood. For example, if I'm 15 years old filmmaker and I'm in Germany, I know that already you have FISH, you have REC Youth Film Festival in Berlin, you have Up and Coming in Hanover, I don't know, every 2 years or every year. On the other hand, if you are in Sweden and you are 15 years old, then you don't have any options actually, because November Festival and our national film festival is just 16 and up.
Okay. So being 15 is hard.
Yeah.
In Sweden.
Yeah, I would say. But so please first check what you have in your own country, and then if you go to Youth Cinema Network webpage, you have all the festivals from 6 to 27 years old, I mean, which have focus on that age, listed. And you can check, this has deadline in March, this has deadline in April, and try to submit there. It can be a really, really good step, because Ciarda and I talked just a few minutes back that some filmmaker who won at your festival when I was in high school, so 20 years back almost, he was nominated for Oscars today. So, I mean, not back far. So youth film festivals can be the first step before going to A film festivals or other B professional film festivals. What's also happening now, and I know that, for example, November Festival in Sweden has a little bit issue with that, is the fact that those filmmakers who are 20, 21, 22, something, so they are not professionals, but they are not youth anymore. And then that if they are submitting to November Festival, which is also like in the same category, not a festival, but not complete youth film festival, then A film festivals like Gothenburg Film Festival and so on, if you are screen your film at Youth Film Festival, they cannot show you on Gothenburg Film Festival. So I would say you have to gamble a little, but if you have your first film and you are 15, 16, then go to Youth Film Festival first. Go to Youth Cinema Network page. You have all the festivals listed there, and there is much less chaos, I would say, than on Film Freeway, where you have quite a lot of options.
Okay. What should a young filmmaker do? Okay, the film, what's more like do I need to prepare any kind of promotion myself if I'm 15? Or do I have just a film and I just send it somewhere? Or should I already think about, I don't know, translations into 5 languages, or a poster, or someone who would help me, or a website, or to promote it in any way? Is it important at the beginning, or just send what you have to the festivals?
I think basic subtitles are very important. You cannot go out of your country if you don't have English subtitles at the beginning. And then, of course, it's good to have a poster. And I mean, I think it's much easier, especially for the youngsters. I feel myself as a dinosaur already, to do the posters for their films, and with all the apps and stuff. I mean, it's much easier than 20 years back, or even 10 years back. Yeah. And then also film stills, you have to have synopsis, so that's basic marketing package, I would say, because all the festivals ask you for that, even youth film festivals ask you now. For that. I know now because I'm on the different side of the pool, you can say, because I'm the one who is submitting my students' films.
So you are helping them?
Yes, I'm, and that's I think as a teacher, it's our duty to do that. I mean, to teach them how to do that.
But that's, I think, a very important thing, because even though someone is a good filmmaker, perhaps talented, this big whole world where you have to go and you have to sell yourself is a totally different thing than staying like with your idea in your head at first and produce it. But it's like, it's yours, it's very often intimate, or it's very personal, and then you just have to go and sell. So I think it's very important that there are people like you who can tell the young people what to do, how to do, and how to feel. Also, because if you get rejected at 5, 10, 20 festivals where you submitted your film, it's also, of course, an experience you have to make, but then you have to deal with it. How do you talk to young filmmakers? How do you motivate them? Or
I always remember what my teacher said to me 20 years back, that there are festivals and there are film juries, and each of them have their own style, their own taste, what are they looking for. So I think I wouldn't be so radical and say every film has its audience, but more or less every film has its niche and can reach to some part of the world, of talk about issues that are concerned and so on.
So what do you say exactly when you see that someone's really talented?
What do you mean? What do I say?
I mean, how do you give this push? Say, okay, now you finish your film and now you have to send it to the festivals, we'll do it together, or...
Yes, and then my first step is actually I show them the Youth Cinema Network page, because there you
possibilities.
And then I explain, okay, Fresh is looking for those kind of films. Nordic Youth Film Festival in Tromsø is looking for those kind of films. Four River Film Festival in Croatia is more focused on that. So that's the step.
Okay. That's really nice to have you, I would say.
I would actually, if you don't mind, I would very much agree with what Maria's saying. If you're thinking about this in terms of music, you wouldn't submit something classical to a heavy metal festival, you know, unless it was some sort of special take on heavy metal. And film is similar. It's a form that has nuance. And I'd absolutely agree with Marija on that. So, you know, we may have the selection of films that we're thinking of for international distribution. I wouldn't send all the same films to the same festivals. I will try and pair them with a festival that the film.
So always a different selection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's curated even at that level before it lands at the festival, and even then it may not make through the jury or selection process, and that's okay. So we're sort of a buffer in that way between the young person, the young filmmaker, and the festivals. But I think you have to, and you probably have the same thing with your relationship with selection panels and programmers for broadcast and screening. But it is a nuanced thing even at that level.
Do you have the same?
Somewhat, no.
Well, we were.
I mean, it is the way that some programmers buy other films than these programmers. So if we have a catalog, if we take a film into our catalog, we already think that, okay, are there buyers who would be interested in it? Like, this would be a film that's for the Canal Plus channel in France. This is a film that would be more for Arte, for example. It's completely different what they take, and that's what we have in mind when we look for films. Yes.
And
also, we actually also look like, could this be something for YouTube, which is also what we do. We also put films on YouTube, and you can earn money with YouTube, as everybody knows. So, and also with short films, you cannot get rich, but it's a possibility.
It's a start. Also to get, well, not maybe famous, but recognizable at the beginning. It's a good way. What I wanted to ask as well is. We have this beginning, we have the film, we have subtitles, and we have posters and all the things that we need. And then we have to do a lot of work. We need to just get down to the festivals, and we have to read a lot, and we have to find the right ones. Then we have to send those films, and hopefully we go there. How important is it to go personally, to be there at the festivals? We started to talk about it a little bit, but maybe one more time, how to encourage young people to go far away sometimes on their own cost, because it's not always the case that you get your money refunded. How much to invest in your presence at the festivals? I
think it's quite important to go and to personally present your film so that people see you. That already gives a better relation to the film, if you know the filmmaker. To also meet other filmmakers, to meet other festivals, maybe it's to network. And if you go somewhere, you really have to force yourself to get to know people, to talk to people, even though if you don't know them, and that really brings you further, I think. And another thing where you have to go, you have to watch the other short films. You have to just watch films.
You have to see what's around you.
Yes, yes. That's what I would tell everybody who makes films: watch films, just to get to an idea of what's around. That you don't make the same films that have been seen many times, for example, just to get an idea what's original, what's not, maybe.
And to see the reactions of the audience, because watching the film in cinema and with the audience behind you, it's completely different than just sending the film. And as a teacher, I teach in a statistical program, and I say to my students that especially this, we try to organize for them in the framework of 3-year program that they go at least once, each student, to some of the youth film festivals, because especially that step of giving away your baby for somebody to watch it, to judge it, it's also part of developing process, as you as a person, and as you as a filmmaker. So, and I had just a few days back, I had a huge discussion with one of my students who didn't want to send the festival film to the festival because she did it for herself and so on. But it's also the didactical and pedagogical approach to, in a way, push them to do that, because it's also one step in the filmmaking. And above everything, to meet all other youngsters and filmmakers from all over the world who think more or less in the way you are thinking, because I also hear a lot of times with the teenagers, I'm in my school, but there are not many of us who have the same approach. And then when they go to Spain, to Ireland, to Norway, they meet other filmmakers. Wow, there are people who
Think
like
me.
the same things that I do, who don't think that I'm crazy, that I'm going filming in the middle of night because that's the best shot. So
Yeah,
that's
so a lot
also-
of personal experience, not just
Yeah.
sitting. So it's not like we sometimes think about films that we make them and they just travel. They are there. There's a tournée and they are shown. But if we're not there, then we are missing a huge part of
Yeah.
what the film really is. And how important is it to try to send the film internationally?
Well, I think, again, coming back to some of the questions there, or some of the observations, I would say also in terms of career development. So it's wonderful to see the reactions of people to your work. It's wonderful to find your tribe, your filmmaking tribe. But also there's beginnings of collaborations happen. So, I mean, Ireland is sort of off there in Europe, you know. So for us, it's a much bigger deal to travel across or to get anywhere. You know, we can't get a train, so when the filmmakers meet, often they start to kind of collaborate, and now because of the ease of working online, you can take those relationships and then build on them to create work when you get back to your home country. And I think that's a really exciting thing, particularly for the younger filmmakers who are starting their journey, as opposed to people who are going to the adult festivals and are there primarily to sell the work. So I think that's something that maybe that we do.
Yeah, I think it's the best way to meet your peers and to get to know how you as a filmmaker want to be surrounded. And I think film festivals might, for the not so outgoing persons, might be like a anxious experience at
Scary.
first. It might be scary, yes.
Well, it sounds scary actually, because you really screened the film, you made it, but then you hear sometimes that they don't like your film.
Well, but I think because there are all the people that are making this basically the same experience or did, the festivals make it easy for you to get into it and to start your journey, I guess.
And luckily we are so different, so there's always a hope that someone would like the film and that we can find a great fan, one of 1,000, but great fan. Is it important to think about the film, about the length, about the format or whatever when you think really about a film career? Should a young filmmaker sit and think, okay, now I have to make a 10 minutes because then I can send it to so and so many festivals, and if I want it on TV then I would rather do it differently, and then if I want it in internet then I should just maybe choose other subjects, other themes, or is it okay just to make a film and hope that it will go?
The thing
You
is,
said that 10 minutes are important.
no, the 10 minutes are important when you have them when you have them in a cinema before a feature film. Then it has to be a short film. But if you want to make a film, the first thing is you make the film that you want to make, so that it's good. And then if you think, oh, it has to be like this, it might be a compromise in the end, and then it will not be a good film and not end up anywhere. So in the first place, you make the film that you want to make. And then, of course, like if you in the process, if you see that it's too long, and that's then another thing. But firstly, you have to do what you want to do
With passion and
with
honesty.
passion. Yes.
Okay. But then it is a little bit different to show a film on a festival, and then not always festival films are shown on TV.
No.
Yeah.
Because there is a market for short films, but still a small market. So we are doing world sales because you wouldn't even be able to only concentrate on one territory for short films. It's not so many options then.
Okay.
But there are TV stations, especially in Europe, who show short films, and there are more and more internet platforms that are interesting. Educational institutions are interesting. So if you made a film that could actually be used to educate.
Okay. So then I think about my film, about the subject perhaps.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If you make a film, you would want in the beginning to know, okay, who's supposed to be
But reaching
watching.
those audiences also, for whom I make, what do I want to say, and whom I want to say it. Maybe is it important to think about it?
Yeah, I think you have to know for whom you make the films.
Okay.
Like if you make, for example, a film that's somehow meant for children, but then you add a horror element, then it's not really usable. You know, whom do you show it to? It doesn't fit categories, but so you have to somehow get an idea whom you're making it for, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, of course, first is the idea, but when you start to develop it, then you have to think, okay, who am I making it for? Is it for myself or for the broader audience, and then to what kind of audience?
Okay. Should I, as a young filmmaker, perhaps show the film before I finish it to someone? Because sometimes my vision, what I want to say, might be totally uncommunicative to other people, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe I should change something when I can, and because after when it's done very often.
Yeah, actually I have that approach with my students, that we are not a big group, and so they feel comfortable among each other. So at some points that we watch our films together, and then they give inputs to each other and feedback. How can you do it maybe in better way? What can you do? Because actually, I mean, in the film industry, you have rough cuts. Rough cut sessions now, which are like professional part of the film festival that filmmakers supply with their rough cuts and then get feedback. So in that sense, what we try to do to teach them all the steps they're going to have in one day in the film industry. The same is with pitching the project and
yes, exactly. Exactly. So it's good to have someone who would look into it, watch the films with me. Friends or professionals then?
Well, we just say critical friends.
Critical friends. Yeah.
So I mean, they could be professionals too, and their friend, you know, they want you to succeed. Yeah.
Or making a test screening with the kind of audience that you envision.
Yes. Oh, I hope the young people are brave. I don't know if I would have enough courage to go there. I mean,
I feel like I should mention something that is important that comes up a lot, and that's copyright.
Yeah.
That you need to be really careful about what you include in your film if you want to share it outside of your region. Because some films can't travel because they've got copyrighted material, or they can't be broadcast because they've got copyrighted material.
Okay.
You know, so and as practice, it's good to seek permission of other artists if you're going to use their work or refer to it, and at least acknowledge them in the credits. I think that's a very basic thing.
So just like formal issues, law,
especially when it comes to music. I mean, that's I think the most part that people don't really think about. They think, oh, that's a nice song, I will include that. But no, you
can't do that.
No, you can't. Or you have to get the rights. And if it's like a very popular song, it's too expensive for you.
So then, it becomes complicated. And
it is possible.
It is possible.
You just need to be really careful.
You just need to know it, and you need to plan it, and then to do it.
In any case, I would say, be careful with music, not only because of the rights, just in general. Try always without music first. Because music can ruin a lot.
But I like your approach. Yes. yeah, sometimes just to listen to the natural sounds is very nice. Yes.
But even if you're talking about broadcast outside of music, branding can be an issue.
Okay, so
So,
that will come for the products you present there.
Yeah, we had that with our broadcaster, is that we had to go through everything and make sure that we weren't putting anything out with branding on it. So if somebody's wearing a top, it's
wrong
not,
shoes.
yeah, exactly, that kind of thing, that it couldn't be broadcast. The short films couldn't be broadcast. So, you know, something so small as somebody having Adidas written somewhere, whatever, that you just didn't see, it's a small thing just to keep an eye on. And it just gives your film more opportunities.
So, what's more that young makers better not do before they get their films around the world? Any tips?
I think you can do quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Just need to try yourself out, and of course there are like don't have to take, but I think every experience you take is one that pushes your filmmaking further. And yeah, just try yourself out. I don't think anything really bad can happen if you just be honest with your work and put it out there.
If you do it honestly yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe try something new. Like, don't go with like what you know. Like this you have seen. Don't copy something that you've seen, but try to break it. Try something new, and I would come back to this music point. Like, don't just use any music, like free music that you can use just to emphasize the feeling. Don't put music without really knowing what you do, why you put it. It's just because I'm being in the selection committee of the national competition. I'm watching, like, we get 700 German submissions each year that we watch, and there are so many films that use like the same piano bling, 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 and it's like the moment that I hear it, even if it's black screen and the music comes, it's like I already don't like the film, and I give it a chance, but you already like so be careful.
Silent movies.
Yeah, actually, when you are selecting films and watching like a lot of submissions, I often get the feeling that less is definitely more, or it has to be so much that it's that is so much and going on, then more is even more. But oftentimes I'm thinking
try less at the
try
beginning,
less, yes.
which is a really huge thing, to sit down on it and really think.
Especially, as you said, music can ruin everything, but it can also save some things in the film. That's why it's really, you have to do wise choices.
I once talked to Sławomir Idziak, and he told me a very surprising thing, I think, that he used to work with so many talented people because he's supporting young filmmakers. He puts a lot of money to do things with young people. But he said that he learned a lot during his whole life, and what he sees now is that, unfortunately, sometimes maybe it's not so wise to invest in a wonderful talent if the person doesn't have the character to go and fight further for the future, for the film, for the career, because the film industry career is really something for the sharks, and it's not for the shy people. It's not just for the people who are waiting to be discovered, but you really have to go there with strength, and you have to know what you want from the very beginning. What do you think about that?
There are different roles in filmmaking. That's one of the great things about filmmaking, is that it, you know, encompasses so many different talents and skills, from the costume designer to the production to direction, producing, music composition, so on. There's so many.
Of course.
And I think that in that way, different aspects of the industry suit different characters. So you might be a director who's quite shy. I find actually a lot of the animators I have met are very shy and introverted, but if they're working with a producer that's the shark, then
So
the
we need
work
the
will
producer
make.
then.
You know, so I think it depends on what role you choose to have in the film. That I think that that your character, as long as it's suited and gives you joy and passion of what you're doing, that will come through the work. It will come through in the final pieces that are made. And actually, to come back to a point and underline it more than anything, is that there is so much out there. And now with Netflix, the platforms and the way that we consume so much more now, that actually that has created lots of opportunities. But it makes it all the more important that the voice of the filmmaker is true. It's their own, it's what they want to say, what they want to tell, not to try and be something else. That exists already. What is your unique thing? And not to be afraid of that. And that's actually where I'd love to see courage, is in, this is what I want to tell. This is my lived experience. And that's where, for me, the bravery is.
And especially because when are you going to experiment, if not now, when you're young? I mean, try new stuff, try new approaches, try new ideas.
And just be open. It doesn't have to be like that everybody loves what you're doing, but it's just a process to find yourself in it as well. But you said something important, producer, that it's sometimes like that you have different people, but you just need one shark in the team. Is it so? How to build? If I'm 15, do I have to then build a team and I need to look for a shark because we're all small fishes?
But that's why the film festivals and workshops are important, because there you meet your team, actually. We had, you remember him, I think, Hadley from States, a filmmaker from Seattle, I think. He came first to our festival in Croatia, then he met somebody in Ireland in Fresh or something like that, or in Vict Wales, I'm not sure. And after a few years they were making film together. So he met his team at youth film festivals. And actually, I mean, that's the first step also. If you're shy or you want to have your producer, festivals and workshops are the place you meet them.
So actually the most important thing is get up and get out to the people. Just meet the people and confront yourself and confront your films with others.
And I think something that's sort of special about film festivals and events that are designed and focused for younger filmmakers is that they understand that we are at this point in a career or development where something that young filmmakers have to be is sort of everything. I remember a young filmmaker saying that to me, you know, it's so unfair. We have to be the best director, the best writer, the best we have to do it all ourselves. You know, whereas at a professional festival or an established filmmakers festival, they have these teams. But we're designed to respect that and to understand that that's where the filmmakers are coming from. You know, they haven't met their full crew yet.
Yeah, exactly.
They're super teams. They're just at this point before.
Yeah, and then it's very nice that we have, and it's very important that we have the people who search for those talents, right?
Yeah.
How does it work? How do you look for the talents?
Visit the film festivals and
so you watch a lot of films. And then you call someone and you said, I saw your film and it's good and I want to have it. How does it happen then? How do I know I'm the talent you selected? Because you look for the talents as well.
It's not that I look for the talents, I teach them and develop them and help them develop. It's not, maybe you are the one who is looking
for talents.
Yes. The thing is, I'm looking more for really good films than for the talent, because we don't help with any production or anything. So I'm not like, I don't look for talent that I can work with on future projects, but I look for films that I can sell. But still, these films, like the people who make these films, they are talented because it's really good films. And many times we also follow filmmakers and keep working with the same filmmakers because we like their films and we like with some filmmakers we even have it so that we think, okay, we want to really follow this career. They keep making short films. We also want to push and encourage people to keep making short films and not immediately try to reach the feature film level, but to stay with the short film and to try yourself out. So that's why we also stay with a few filmmakers together, and then in that sense maybe looking for talents. And we also, if we see that somebody is making a really good short film that we might be interested in, we have the option to give a letter of intent, for example, to say that, okay, if this film is finished, we would have the intent to possibly take it into our catalog, but the final decision is always made with the final film. But such a letter of intent could help to get funding, for example. You can show the funding funds this letter, and they say, okay, then maybe then we'll get the money. Yeah, did I answer the question?
Yeah, yes, of course. In your field of expertise, of course. Is there anything more you would like to say to young people?
Well,
how to get my film around the world?
Just, sorry, to answer your question about talent development, we do have a talent development aspect. It's called Hot House. And over the last year was the first time, so we give this micro funds to help young filmmakers. So they have to be under, around 19, 20 is the oldest. And last year for the first time we funded 2 from Ireland and 1 from Poland and 1 from the UK. So there's a plan that will be happening again this year, and that was in association with the national broadcaster, so they were also put on the broadcaster platform. So they had a really wide reach as well, and then they had that as part of their CV going forward. So there are other opportunities like that for talent development, and I know that NUF, I think, has some really interesting. So that's the thing, if you know you get your foot up first, that you can then join these talent development programs for building careers. I'm sorry I cut you off, but just since you said that, I think it's important to know that that's also a possibility.
Would you like to add something about the talents, seeking for talent?
I can just say what my view on like the talents that that we occur in my programs is that that I can see them year by year growing, and it's always very nice to like get them back at the festival, and they have been like 2 years before there, and you see, okay, somehow you didn't have to do a lot the last time they were at the festival, but everybody knows everyone their second time somehow, and somehow the system works. Everybody wants to get into this cluster and attach themselves to the festival, like the persons that were working there are often having their programs there. I think in Lübeck, the Nordic Film Taste, due to the regional focus, it's maybe more compressed and works better for those filmmakers from the region. But this is how the talents get their peers and their cluster, and they empower themselves to honor their own vision, and it's great to just watch it from like a programmer perspective.
To grow, to see them grow and get bigger and bigger. So, is there anything else that you would like to say to the young filmmakers?
Maybe because now we have been talking so much about the festivals and how to get to a festival. So because my work, what I'm doing is coming after the festival. So we bring the film then to the TV stations, to the educational institutions, internet, maybe even airlines. But so if you might have the luck to find a sales agent, or a sales agent finds you, even better. So that's the exception. But what else do you do when the festival run is over and you don't have a sales agent? That's maybe a thought. And of course, there is the possibility to put it online. And if you do that, then I would recommend Vimeo, and try to engage on Vimeo. Try to send it to Vimeo staff. Maybe you get stuff picked. Maybe you're lucky. That would also help to get some visibility.
So after this year of festival tours, just try more.
Try to get it then out on
because it's a really important questions. What's after the festivals then? Even if I have 3 awards, should I already sit and make my next film, or should I sell this thing and film as well?
Parallel, I
Parallel.
would say. I mean, especially if you want to survive in film industry, then you have different projects in different stages. One is traveling around the world, and another one is already pitching on different pitching forums and development stuff. But I liked what you said in very beginning. You have to think of that film has different windows where you can show it. So after the festival, then you have to think, okay, where else now can I not submit but present my film?
Yeah, and don't put it online immediately, because if somebody finds your film to be shown on a TV station and you even earn some money with it, then that will not happen if it's online for free, most likely, because TV stations want exclusive rights, and even some other online platforms want exclusive rights nowadays. So just put it out there. If you tried everything and nobody bought your film, which most likely will happen, to be honest, because it's the exception if films are bought. First try it and then put it online for free. That should be the last step.
Okay, so we talked quite detailed about the festivals. And what is it? Have you tried everything? So what is this everything? So it's after this 1 year, I showed it on the festivals. And the sales agents, I mean, how do I find them? Is there like how to do that?
Good question. Googling, visit festivals, Google,
Google.
And not only festivals, also the markets. Like, have a look at the markets. There is, for example, the Clermont-Ferrand Film Festival with a short film market. It's the short film market, most importantly.
So important short film market.
Short film market, yes.
So Google that.
And you can have you find contacts there, probably, and
take time. Search. Yes, so it's a lot of energy, and
But your shark producer can help you.
yeah,
That's the thing, because then your shark producer can focus on
and
selling the film, and you can focus on your next film.
And we might know that shark already. And also, don't be shy to just. Many times I get the question, but how do I submit the film to you as a sales agent? It's not a submission. It's just write me an email. Write an email and know whom you're writing to. So don't say, hello, I made the films, but say, hello, Stine, hello, Kurzfilmagentur. Just address us, because
so don't send the same email to...
No.
Yes, and we get many emails
from... with the festival platforms, and festivals don't send your film everywhere.
Yeah.
So
because we get many emails with films, and it's really hard to keep up watching them. And of course, if you make a really good email, it's easier that we relate to you more, and send the
somebody
not
else.
near to be honest. Yeah, I mean, you have to, because we don't manage to watch everything. So
but that's what I ask also at some point, that was subtitles and promotion and so on. But yes, just think about where do you send those films, who do you communicate, do the research, right?
Yeah.
So it's a totally different work than producing the film, but the research. It seems like really a lot of work, but a very important work if you want to get your films around the world.
That's why it's good that you have a team, so everybody can focus on their...
And internet.
Yeah.
Anything else?
The world is out there. Just reach it out.
So the last word from everyone, just one sentence to the young filmmakers. Maybe we start here.
Just do it, I think. Just do it, be brave, be honest to yourself, and you don't need to be shy. Nobody's gonna be a shark and bite you. You can be a little fish and grow into whatever you like.
Mm-hmm. Tell the story you want to tell. You know, that is your original. There's only one of you.
Okay.
I agree to all that, and maybe keep going. Also, if you did not get accepted, if you have negative experience, just grow from it and keep doing what you want to do.
Don't stop.
don't stop.
Follow your passion. Don't go with the flow.
Very nice. So I hope we actually managed to tell the young filmmakers a little bit about how to get their films around the world. So if you're here, just come and visit our wonderful experts. Come to this festival, come to other festivals, and meet people and do really honestly good films. Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank fish.
Thank fish.
Yeah, thank fish.
And fishes and the sharks.